Hey guys, here it's Riley with Tech Tyro, and I am bringing you more Illustrator tutorials. So today I'm going to take some of the techniques I showed you before with other gradients and whatnot, and show you how to make a beach ball. So um, shouldn't take too long. It's actually really simple, but it's more or less just working on thinking outside of the box, especially with using the program tools. Um, so if this thing lets me create a new document all the way over here, make sure your settings are right. Color mode, I like working CMYK. Go for it. And first things first, a good practice to get into when you are making anything, if it's on a Photoshop document or if it's on Illustrator, is getting reference material. So I have gone and searched the webs and found a beach ball, a perfect beach ball, that we will use for our thing here. So wherever I want to save it, that works. And then you want to take that, drag it over into your workspace, and it's huge. So make it appropriate size. And we're going to start by outlining it with the pen tool. So if you hold shift and drag that, it just keeps it the same size. And then Control 2 locks it in place. You don't have to worry about it moving anymore. So I'm going to start it off by just like outlining it with our handy pen tool. It's just point and click. If you hold down and drag it, you get the curve anchor point, and that helps out a ton. Just getting the form. So playing with anchor points, it's tough to judge, but I usually like to space it out at least a little bit with the circles. If you look at a normal circle drawn with the actual circle tool, you'll notice it has 4 main points, but here the beach ball is kind of mostly circular, but not quite. So just getting a general feel for where you want to place those guys works. And then once we get to the last anchor point, it's going to tell me that it's only on one side, and that's because we started from there. So if you want to press A, you get the direct selection tool, give it a curve there, and then tweak the anchor a bit. You can even bump this over. So then we can smooth that out. Now we don't want the white to be in the way for the whole time because we want to see what we're working on here. So we are going to take out the fill, and that's right here. It's got no fill now. We just have the outline. And then the stroke is pretty strong on this, so we might even want to just drop down the stroke to 2. Now we have a better idea where our points sit. We can tweak those so they rest more on the edge. And that seems about right. And now I'm going to go ahead, Control 2, lock that, and go about drawing the other, do you want to call them triangles? I don't know. Parts of the volleyball. So if you want to move an anchor point when you drop it down, you hold down the space bar, and that lets you tweak where it goes. And right now it doesn't matter what goes here because I'm going to put a circle over top anyway, so it'll overlap. Generally you just want to make it for the appropriate shape. And the hard part when it comes to putting in the fill for the colors is making sure the lines match up. So that'll be most of the maintenance afterwards. Because right now if you see, our lines are kind of crooked, and come time to show off our volleyball, those guys aren't going to match up and it's going to look funny. So then we get our points here. It also helps too if you look at where the points are on this guy, and I locked it, so I'll come back to that. But there's our first line. Congratulations. Put this one down. Another easy way to help make sure the lines match up is make this endpoint. I don't know if you want to call it a curve anchor point. And then you can kind of get the same shape with the volleyball because it doesn't necessarily have any straight lines. And bang. Look at that, perfect. Next one, onto the yellow. And then we'll kind of just, generally we'll have one color stand out more than the other, so it doesn't matter if these ones overlap. When it comes to layers, the blue will be on top. That way you don't have to worry about making the lines just. And tweaking our lines again here. Making sure things line up. That looks about right. Pretty close. Another thing you can do as well is if you drag on the line, you'll see the anchor points come out. This turns the corner anchor point into a hybrid, I guess, and you can tweak both anchor points, and so they kind of work together. That way, if you don't get the appropriate shape with just one point in the middle of your segment, you can have both points tweak it for a compound shape. Working over here. Next color. I did pick one with a lot of colors here. Okay. That point, bam. Then curve it. Find the anchor line. I think I'm getting better at this. Next. It helps to make sound effects whenever you put down an anchor point too. Boom. It also helps to laugh at your own jokes. Okay. Two more. Then the fun part. And that right there was just Control-Z undo, because I made the line a curved one. I don't know, I felt like it. Bing, bam, bam. So right now, every time I put down one of these compound shapes, they're already layering themselves. So one's going to be on top of the other already by default. So it just helps. Actually, it's the opposite. So we're going to have to change the layers ourselves once they are done, as they are all going to be sitting on top of each other funny. No. Control-Z, my best friend. Okay. last one. And one way we could do this is just, how do you say it? I don't care where this goes. Make the circle red, but we want to have maybe a stroke on top to kind of define the line. So it looks continuous around. And therefore we're going to want to have its own separate color here. Another way we could do this too is the live paint, but I won't get into that one right now. It just allows for more tweakability if we have our own individual points. And you will see why later on if we add gradients. Okay, so done. Tutorial over. Jokes. We're gonna start adding the color now. So press I, you get your eyedropper. You just pick a random color. And since they're layered on top of each other, if you hit Control left bracket, it'll drop behind it. Magic. Control right bracket, right bracket. Bam. It's white. It works. Control. Boom, boom. And eyedropper. Easiest way too, because now we're working with a lot of layers. If we hit Control Shift right bracket, it'll go in the very back, which is behind the image. So then you just hit Control right bracket to bring it forward, Control left bracket to go backwards. So there's our volleyball right now. We'll select all these guys, send them to the very back. So Control Shift left bracket, and then Control right bracket to bring it above the layers. Now it sits kind of behind our main circle, and we can see where the lines don't quite make sense. And I think I did a pretty good job there lining everything up. So now what we'll do is we'll lower the opacity of these guys so we can see where the circle goes. And the circle I've used with the pen tool, normally you can just get like the circle object here. If you hold down, the ellipse tool comes out and you can get it there, and that might actually work better. We'll put this guy down. Save us any grief. Put that there. Magic. Okay. Tweak that a little bit. Turn this guy. Nope. Don't do that. And those guys I'm pushing there are just the arrows to tweak it. Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna click all these guys except for this one, so hold down Shift, deselect that one, Control 3 hides those layers. We're going to hide that as well. Select this color, and I saw there's a little bit of gradient there. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it a gradient. We've got our black slider here, change the color mode, and unfortunately with gradients they don't tend to work very well with the selection, so you kind of have to eyeball it. We're sitting at about, we want this side darker, and then this side going to be the lighter side, so we'll click there. That's the darker side. What's going on? Make this more white. works. Change the angle a little bit. 30. That works. Perfect. And then we'll hit Control Alt 3, brings our shapes back. Opacity at 100. And there's a volleyball. But we're not done yet. Control 2 will unlock everything. Let's lock that back layer again. Control 2. Take this stroke and give it a lighter tone. Probably want to look at doing right about there. And then either lower the opacity or transparency. We can go into here and give it a fade. So if we go lighten, kind of lightens those colors a bit. The colors shine through. Let's try a different one. Maybe overlay. There we go. Now it has an edge to go off of. What we'll do now, which is why we put them in different layers, is give them all their own gradient. So we'll look at this. The values on this guy are, let's see here, pull this one up. We've got our numbers, 90, 85, 2, and 0. So we will go on this side, memory game, 90, 85, 2, 0. And then over here we can duplicate it, slide it down, drag that one off to delete it, and then lighten this. Just make it a little whiter here. Add an angle to it, probably 15. Get this one eyedropper it. Get this one. Color for that is 21, 20, and 85. So we'll go again to the gradient. 21, 20, I think, 85. Memory like a goldfish. And then click here, get that guy gone. Make this more white. Give it an angle of, we want to go in the negative because we want it to angle up, so 15 here. Makes a bit of a difference. Anyways, so you see we got kind of a nice back to it. And the last trick I will toss in, it's part of using the reference here. Control 2, that's the only one. Okay. You want to select all these guys, group it, Control G, drag it over, and now we're going to try and redo those guys quick. So take a circle here. This is a cool trick. Take this one, and sometimes you can just like gradient, go for the gradient, make it a radial, and we'll do this one as kind of a white, off red kind of white, and that's on the middle. So we'll swap sides. This one's going to be there. Make this one completely white and lower the opacity on this about 20. Actually, we'll go 0. We don't have a line. So then from there, we'll tweak the lines a little bit. For this one though, if you look at it, just with the radial gradient, it always stays the same, which is unfortunate. In most sense, it stays the same and you get those lines. So the best way to do it would be do one line and another on top of it, and we're going to blend them together. Drop that one by, and we'll get, this is our blend tool. You can do it by steps. So we'll give it about 8 steps, that's average. Lock them together. We'll take this blend, do it to that guy. So now we've got this weird thing going on, but we'll drag this one with the direct select, put it down there, and just make this a solid color. So this one's going to be solid 117.9. We'll go on our appearance here. Fill is going to be new swatch. Jumped over here. Okay. Show all color. We'll make this one white, and this one white as well, just a lighter white, and give it a 0 opacity. Opacity 0. So now that comes off, we can tweak our lines, give it more shape. It's going real quick, so I'll make this tutorial not too long. Size this guy. And even for the middle one, we can lower the opacity here. Cool. This one, the opacity is 0. And we'll use this for our spot. And there's one patch. And you can duplicate it. Hold Alt, drag it, spin this guy. Tweak the size of it, take our middle, make it brighter, 80, that looks almost full white, and tweak it. So right now our steps are coming in, they're looking kind of off. Best way to tweak it would be taking our step tool, defining more steps. And there we go. Got that one. Probably dim this one down slightly. And then last but not least, we'll drag this guy over for the finale. Seems like the right thing to do here. Opacity 220. Take our blender and define more steps here. Tool 20. Huh. add a new one just over top. Outside of the blend drop. Back, opacity 20. Oblong shape it. Give it gradient. This is when the heavy duty gradient stuff comes in. Oh my god. Double click on your face. There. We have that one. We're gonna have this one full white, maybe a little gray. And then lower the opacity. So now we've got that. Give it a 20 angle. And now we're going to blend the two together. Crazy. Control 2. Drop this one back. Now blend. And we're just at the end of our tutorial here. That's about the best way that you can vector a volleyball. And yeah, it just comes with tweaking whatever you feel looks right. And then if you are worried about the uncanny looking, there's one more bit I forgot. I'll take this shape here. Control Shift G ungroups everything. And seeing as it has a shadow around the outside, let's try and figure this one out. Copy it, paste it, give it gradient, linear, radial. We'll do this one as black, this one as white, opacity 0. This opacity can be 60, 80. Put this on top of everything. Pull that over. We'll group this together. Control G. Put this on top. Center everything. You got line top, line middle. And then top layer, we're just going to give it a transparency. Overlay. Nope. Multiply. Darken. Something like that. And if you want to tweak the gradient, make it just to the outside. And we'll lower the opacity of this guy is 60. Now it's uncanny. Control 2. Last but not least, I'm getting perfectionism here. We will turn this guy's stroke off. Just for a second, just to see how it looks. Perfect. There you have it. A volleyball. Nope. Let's try that again. There you have it, a vector volleyball. I want to thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments section or email us at techtyro.com. If you have any requests, feel free to do that too. My name's Riley Miller. I'm your Illustrator specialist, I guess, on Techtyro. And yeah, tune in next time. We put out tutorials every so often we can. So you enjoy your day.